As you got older, what is something difficult you had to accept about dating and relationships? Prepare to be lonely if your standards are higher than you are. Preach. As a man you have to be realistic or else you're screwed. Want better options? Be a better option. Same goes for women. Chances are you're never going to get closure or even a straight answer. I'm incredibly sad and disappointed that someone I knew for 25 years cut me out of her life and destroyed mine in what felt like 8 weeks and refused to just tell the truth a year later when all was said and done. I went from the most important person to her life to someone who didn't deserve to have a yes or no question answered and whose feelings didn't matter at all. This sucks so much. Had mutual crush with coworker and suddenly she treats me like good day hello person. Beauty is far more important than most people are comfortable admitting. It's kinda psychotic that we convinced a generation or two that beauty is irrelevant. Just be yourself is the most harmful advice you can give someone. We should be telling young people to hit the gym instead. I think just be yourself is good advice. It's just that people take it the wrong way, and nobody ever takes the time to elaborate. People hear just be yourself and think, okay, so I don't need to change anything about myself. I should just remain unapologetically unchanged forever. No, motherfucker. That's not it. That's lazy and blatantly unaccountable. Be yourself. Yes, but also continually strive to be a better version of yourself. People let themselves bloat up into these fat pigs. Not because they have a legitimate health condition, but because they are balancing their lazy, disgusting lifestyles atop the sand pillar of political correctness. And then say love me for me, or some stupid shit. Sorry, I got a little carried away. I agree with you. Rather than encouraging people to just be themselves, we should encourage people to strive to be better versions of themselves. Be it going to the gym, getting into martial arts, taking a walk around the block, learning something new, etc. If I spend a lot of time with someone I will always be annoyed with them from time to time. For me, getting on my nerves sometimes is not a great reason to end the relationship. It literally always happens. The problem is me, not them. Well said. If you put someone on a pedestal, they'll have no choice but to look down on you. Oof. Thanks for this. Starting over with someone new means you have to start everything over. You can't blame this new person for things that others have done. No matter what patterns you've been taught up to this point, you have to give them a chance. Love isn't fair and everyone isn't lucky enough to spend their life with their soulmate. I waited around a long time for a woman I loved to come back into my life. Regardless of how hard it was, after 5 years I had to force myself to move on. Even though I sit here 15 years later still missing her. I feel that, bro. Loyal to a fault. Is that loyal? Or is that just obsession? That even if a woman is crazy about me, I will never be worth the risk of her just asking me out. Women are completely fine just waiting around, then get mad when a man doesn't make a move and they move on. I've never understood that. If you like a person, shoot your F shot. That I see more and more clearly that the cons mostly outweigh the pros in my case. I'm free without a relationship and I don't wanna deal with all the work anymore. Other people only bring complications and mental strain that I just don't have alone. Pretty much. You're in the living for myself stage. You might never get out of it, and that's totally fine. Tinder made things weird, lol. Not just Tinder. Or lol, really. It has its pros and cons, but overall I think it's a massive negative. Potential partners, yourself too, will start to have more exes from your pasts as you naturally date more people. Sometimes it's not a problem at all. Sometimes it's a minefield where all the mines are disarmed, but you still have to navigate around it, and sometimes some of the mines are still armed and could go off at any time. I've seen this a lot. This is going to hurt. In general, a woman would absolutely rather share a man she considers high value, even if he treats her like an option, than to settle for a man she considers beneath her, regardless of loyalty. Friend of mine is currently doing this exact thing. She destroyed her marriage over a guy who treats her like a rotation because he's tall, in shape, and has a great job. Her now ex-husband got chubby, Attraction beats morality more often than people realize. Obviously this doesn't apply to every woman, but it's common enough that it's noticeable. I expect to be downvoted for this. Bring it on. If you're lonely single, you'll be lonely in a relationship. I've never understood this. What do you mean? If you aren't comfortable with yourself, i.e., you cannot enjoy your own company, then you'll also feel the same even in a relationship. And this will F up a relationship beyond repair once you start blaming the other person for your loneliness. If it's not a yes, it's a no. You're right. But I hate that women won't just flat out say no. Why is the onus on me to interpret what a woman means when we are both English speaking adults? I wouldn't be involved in any of them. Everyone has issues in their pasts. Everyone. Nearly 32 and I'm coming to realize this with time myself. It's how you work on them and develop as a person which makes you. As she ages, her expectations go from he has a pulse to an insane set of ridiculous expectations no man could ever meet. Not even Napoleon. They go back down though. Yeah. After she realizes no one else wants her and she's about to run off the only person who does. If you're interested in dating a woman, talk to a woman to get advice about women. I know that sentence might come off as obvious or redundant to some, but you'd be surprised to see how many guys turn to other men for advice about women and, surprise again, end up getting bad advice from them. Once I learned to have a more healthy relationship with the opposite sex, specifically having more platonic relationships and friendships with women, it was absolutely night and day to see how much easier it is to date since I'm getting all my advice straight from the source. How well I treat them, X. How well they regard me, X. Their efficacy in self-care equals how happy they are with me. That third part, self-care, is completely beyond my control. That you don't need to always be in one. People make dating into something that was never meant to be, and relationships are actually more than just sex. But sex is most often achieved in a relationship. It's literally one of its best perks of being in a relationship. Nothing lasts forever. That they don't have to love you just because you love them. It hurts like F, but it can't be changed. That it's extremely one-sided. I'll never be satisfied with just one person. Most people will cheat in some form or fashion at some point. People will lie about how great their relationship is and how great relationships are in general. But behind closed doors they just barely tolerate each other. Women can be just as manipulative and fake as men can be. The list goes on. You either have a good partner and zero sex or a bad partner and lots of sex. The universe loves playing sick jokes on us. That I'm not cut out for either. To echo previous comments, the importance of physical beauty/fitness, the healthy and sexy at every size, is just bad advice in general, but it's actively harmful to men. There's supposedly an appreciation for dad bods, but this is virtue signaling. Or someone feels more comfortable with a schlubby guy because they've been cheated on before. It's not real attraction. Real attraction is based on physical indicators of health and youth. It's so obvious that I'm kinda ashamed I was convinced otherwise. I really wish someone, at least one person, would have given me the straight talk about losing weight and getting in shape when I was in my 20s. Instead, the advice I got was just be yourself. You're a great guy. Some woman will see that someday. It wasn't until my 30s where my doctor set me straight. I was obese. I countered that I'm not as overweight as most people I see. Well, she said majority of people are overweight and that doesn't make it healthy. Humans aren't angels. We are animals. The more we forget that, the more schizophrenic our rhetoric becomes. If it's not easy, it probably isn't right. I'm hideous and no one wants to be in a relationship with me.